Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Howard has the night off. More testimony today on the surveillance video of the alleged mailbox theft at the Kealoha house. This time from a video expert from the FBI headquarters in Quantico, Virginia. Manolo Morales joins us live from federal court with more. Manolo?
Yeah, Bridget, the video expert testified that some of the hard drives that contained that video surveillance may have been altered. Now, Thomas Woodard said he analyzed the hard drives that contained the surveillance video of the alleged mailbox theft. He said he was not able to recover any video before the footage that showed the Kealoha mailbox being taken. Woodard said he was able to recover some images. One was a picture of a ceiling. There was also a picture of an office with what looks like a bunch of wires. The timestamps on the images show that some of the hard drives were altered or some portions were recorded over. Woodard said when a hard drive is erased, he can still recover some data, but if it's recorded over, he cannot recover that data. Alvin Lum, who supervised the technical unit at CIU, was shown photos similar to the pictures the FBI video specialist recovered, except these pictures had CIU workers in the background. Prosecutors seem to be making the connection that the hard drives were altered at the CIU office. The legal advisor for HPD also testified. She said she received a subpoena sent to the chief and his wife, Catherine, asking for video surveillance of the mailbox theft. This was in 2014, 1 year after the incident. She said she asked the chief and he told her everything was already submitted. Apparently the videos were submitted, but the hard drives were not. Now, during the cross-examination, defense attorneys pointed out that the timestamps on the video can be changed depending on the settings of the video recorder. Also, those hard drives are not usually turned in as evidence, just the videos that are taken from them. Bridget, over to you.
Thank you, Manolo. To the Big Island now, where a man is dead after being hit by a vehicle early this morning. It happened on Hualalai Road, fronting Kona Public Library. Police say the driver struck the man who was lying in the road. He was taken to the hospital and pronounced dead. The vehicle, possibly a truck or SUV, fled the scene. If you have any information, call Big Island Police. A second arrest was made in connection with the death of a man found in Kailua several weeks ago. A 35-year-old woman was arrested yesterday afternoon and later released pending investigation. Meanwhile, 37-year-old Kione Labatad remains in custody on murder charges after being arrested on Tuesday. Several weeks ago, the body of Benjamin Awang was found by a group of hunters on a trail in Kailua. Police ruled his death a homicide. Today's Secretary of the Interior, David Bernhardt, visited the Big Island to see firsthand the damage done by last year's eruption, particularly at Hawaiian Volcano Observatory and Jagger Museum. Sarah Madison has more from the Big Island.
The park has experienced extreme changes since the eruption, rocked by thousands of earthquakes and a massive collapse of the Kilauea caldera. Like many of the impacted communities, the park also faces a challenging journey to recovery. Buildings wrecked, roads and trails cracked. After getting a first-hand look, Interior Secretary David Bernhardt says he's gained a deeper appreciation of the eruption's significant impacts.
But look, I wouldn't be here if I didn't think that this was going to be a priority. What we're doing is looking at our facilities, asking ourselves, what potentially do we need to do, or what alternatives do we need to make? And those decisions are still a ways down the road.
Park officials tell us they're still assessing how much the damage will cost.
The way that works is we go through a process with Congress, and we're in a process where I think they have found some money for the supplemental, but I never make a prediction on that until it's presented to the president. We already have some resources from Federal Highways and others that will be coming in doing planning to deal with some subsidence and things like that at the park.
Most of the park is open, but portions that are closed indefinitely include Halema'uma'u Trail across the caldera floor and portions of Crater Rim Trail. Of course, the future of Jagger Museum also stands on shaky ground.
You know, when you stand there at the caldera, My initial reaction, honestly, was there needs to be something there. At the same time, there's movement on that ground. I mean, that's clearly obvious. It's still moving potentially. And so we need to think that through because obviously safety is very first. But I think that that site is an incredible site and we need to be very thoughtful about what we do there.
As for the USGS Hawaiian Volcano Observatory, Interior Secretary Bernhardt says it will be hard to imagine that HVO would be any place other than the Big Island.
We have not made the call on whether it'll be in the park or not, and that'll be a call that I'll be intimately involved in.
USGS officials tell us they found a place in Hilo to work out of, but finding something stable could take years.
It is temporary. I mean, it kind of works for right now, but it's not. The science will be suffering. It doesn't have the proper lab facilities. If we have to build or even rebuild or whatever we're going to do, it doesn't happen overnight.
Sarah Madison, KHON 2 News.
Thanks, Sarah. It was another sunny day across most of the state, plus the trades are back. Justin Cruz has the latest.
Yeah, I'm loving the trade winds, and they have returned to the islands. Right now, trade winds at Honolulu Airport at 15 miles per hour, much stronger for parts of Maui County. Kahului checks in at 24, Lanai City at 23, and lighter winds for the Big Island at this time. But the key is that we have trade winds, and the trade winds are here to stay. With that being said, we're still seeing some hot temperatures. 92 for Kahului. That breaks the record of 91 for Kahului, 89 for Honolulu, mid-80s elsewhere. The heat is going to continue, but at least with the trade winds, that'll help make things feel a bit more comfortable. And with those trade winds, a few trade showers. We do anticipate shower activity to ramp up tonight during the evening and overnight hours. Not to the point where we're going to see any kind of heavy rain, but definitely to the point where windward spots are going to be seeing some shower activity overnight. South shores and west sides of all islands will remain on the drier end of the spectrum, and no significant shower activity is expected. The only weather alert that we have right now is a small craft advisory that applies to Maui and Big Island channels through at least Sunday at 6 p.m. Why do we have this? We have this because our trade winds are here, and they are here to stay. Partly sunny tomorrow. Light windward showers, trade winds 10 to 15, maybe 20 miles per hour, puts it into the breezy category this weekend. And speaking of the weekend, no major issues with the weekend weather. Start thinking and planning right now. It's looking good. Bridget, back to you.
I know you are. Thanks, Jess. Honolulu Mayor Kirk Caldwell will deliver his 7th State of the City address tonight. Caldwell is expected to focus on a variety of issues, including climate change, affordable housing, as well as a minimum wage increase for some city employees. He's also expected to address homelessness and public safety. We'll have a recap of his remarks on our later newscasts. The latest tourism numbers show visitor spending was down for the month of April compared to the same time last year. The state took in $1.33 billion, a drop of 6.2% compared to April 2018. Spending did increase from the U.S. West Coast and Japan, but fell for East Coast and Canada markets. Visitor arrivals rose 6.6% to 856,000 visitors in April, but the Big Island saw a 14% drop in visitors and a 20% drop in spending. All right, it's 5:08 now. Let's check early evening rush hour traffic on Oahu. We turn things over to Lady V.
Thanks, and aloha, Bridget. So heading out to the west side on the H1, some of the usual brake lights beginning near School Street on-ramp. It continues through Honolulu Freeway. And on the H1 Airport Viaduct, we do see the backup to Arizona off-ramp. Now, we do have some unusual traffic heading out to Nanakuli because of an earlier accident. It does slow down near Wet and Wild, and it's pretty much bumper-to-bumper through Nanakuli. Into downtown Honolulu, congestion beginning on Honolulu Freeway at the Fort Shafter Flats, and on the H1 Viaduct at the Nimitz and Dillingham exits with relief near Punahou on and off ramps. I'm Lady V with 92.3 KSSK Traffic Center. Bridget, back to you.
Lady V, thank you. A heads up for drivers in town as several lanes of the H1 freeway will be closed starting Monday night through Friday morning. 3 lanes will be closed in the eastbound direction at the Gulick overpass from 9 p.m. to 4 a.m. The following week, 3 lanes will close in the westbound direction Monday through Friday during those same times. Crews will repair damage to the overpass due to an oversized vehicle. Coming up, flooding and more severe weather continue to devastate parts of the mainland. And the new change happening at FedEx you'll want to know about.
Got a news tip? See something newsworthy? We want to hear from you. Report it at KHON2.com or through the KHON2 mobile app.
For a limited time, get this complimentary iPad when you open a CPB exceptional checking account with $10,000 new money and direct deposit. It's time to expect exceptional. Central Pacific Bank, going beyond.
Never choose between keeping your kitchen safe or being tough on ants. Because new Raid Ant and Roach, infused with plant-based active ingredients, lets you have both. Safely defend your kitchen. It's good to be tough. SC Johnson.
Mothers at Kaiser Permanente have an amazing amount of choices. Our goal is to provide women with the best childbirth experience that they can have.
Occasionally, we do have some newborns who need help. That's when the neonatal intensive care unit comes in. We have babies who are born at less than a pound. We are equipped to take care of them.
We are there for you at every step of the way.
When they go home, the joy that I see in that family, it's what I live for, and that's why I do what I do.
This is the Durabit of the all-new Chevy Silverado.
That is huge.
It offers a built-in 120-volt outlet. Wow. Plug that in for me.
Oh, holy smokes.
Wow. And the all-new Silverado has more trim levels than any other pickup.
Oh, wow. There's something for all of us.
It's time to upgrade. Get 0% financing for 72 months on this all-new Silverado, or get a total value of over $9,000 when you finance with GM Financial.
See your Hawaii Chevy dealer.
If you like to sleep well and save big, shop Bedmart's big Memorial Day sale. All memory foam is on sale, including our most popular bed-in-a-box with cooling technology at just $5.99. Pick it up today or get fast, free delivery tomorrow. Be BedSmart. Shop Bedmart.
For a limited time, get this complimentary iPad when you open a CPB exceptional checking account with $10,000 new money and direct deposit. It's time to expect exceptional. Central Pacific Bank, going beyond.
Welcome back. The Arkansas River reached historic levels as flooding continues to ravage the Midwest. Matt Finn in Fort Smith, Arkansas, with the latest.
I mean, it's catastrophic. I mean, you look across the cove and see all the houses submerged.
More rain adding to the already swollen Arkansas River as widespread flooding continues to plague areas of Oklahoma and Arkansas. All of this as another round of tornadoes struck overnight from Texas to Iowa, marking 13 straight days of reported tornadoes across the country. Hundreds of homes in Fort Smith, Arkansas, continuing to see rising water levels, with city officials estimating that up to 1,000 homes have been impacted. Some homeowners seeing the water rise up to their roofs, and these high levels could remain like this for days.
Just because we had one good night from a weather standpoint does not mean that we're going to be complacent in any way on this. We have to stay proactive on this.
The Arkansas River sitting right now at an all-time high, reaching 44 feet in Dardanelle and 40 feet in Van Buren, according to the National Weather Service. That's nearly double the flood stage. And while the river is receding, all that water will have to go somewhere, eventually making its way south towards Little Rock, the state capital, where the National Guard is already preparing.
You worry about the length that water will be pressing against them and whether that will diminish. While they might look good now, what will that look like a week from now?
And many farmers here are suffering catastrophic losses. One farmer tells us he has $1 million in damages. Another reporting he has a total crop loss. In Fort Smith, Arkansas, Matt Finn, Fox News.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says so far there have been 971 confirmed cases of the measles in the U.S. This year's outbreak is the worst since 1994, when 963 cases were reported for the entire year. Washington State and parts of New York are among the hardest hit areas. The CDC says for every 1,000 kids who contract measles, 1 or 2 will die. So far, there have been no recorded deaths this year. Officials are urging unvaccinated people to receive 2 vaccines to protect themselves against measles. Shipping giant FedEx says it plans to make deliveries 7 days a week year-round starting next January. That's because online shoppers are wanting their stuff even on Sundays. The company already runs 7 days a week around Christmas. FedEx says the change will increase the company's ability to meet the demands of e-commerce retailers and online shoppers. Coming up, an update on the Scripps National Spelling Bee Plus. A team beats out more than 1,500 competitors from around the world, taking first place in a science and engineering fair. What he invented that may help aid in spinal surgeries. But first, here's a look at what's coming up on Wake Up Today.
Running low on gas? Get ready to save in our Aloha Friday fill-up promotion while putting a smile on a kid's face. How you can save at the pump, which will benefit Make-A-Wish Hawaii, and how you can make a difference tomorrow on Wake Up Today.
From the start, the C-Class was ahead of its time. Still, we never stopped making it stronger, faster, smarter. Because to be the best is to never, ever stop making it better. The 2019 C-Class family. Lease the C300 sedan for just $429 a month at your local Mercedes-Benz dealer. Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing.
Geico makes it easy to get help when you need it. With licensed agents available 24/7. It's not just easy. It's having a walrus and goal easy.
It's a walrus! Ridiculous!
Yes! Nice save, big guy! Good job, Duncan! Way to go!
It's not just easy, it's Geico easy.
Duncan, stay up. No sleepies.
Almost everything in my house has been framed by Pictures Plus. No matter how perfect a painting is, I still believe that it needs a frame. Actually, I come here not really knowing what I want, but I figure if somebody is going to frame that picture that I want done, then I just should leave it to their creativity. You have a trusting person that can do what you want, and that when you come back, perfect hit every single time.
There's Sean and Nika. Surf's up, guys. Antoinette, that's nice. And the Clamp family. Go get 'em, Mom. We're Hoku, a credit union with a single purpose, to help our members create a brighter financial future. We've been helping members for over 80 years. And have you seen our new branch in Eva Beach? We've got one of the best rewards checking accounts, affordable loan rates, and convenient mobile banking. Our membership is growing, so come and join us. Hoku, for a brighter future.
Finding the right home mortgage doesn't have to be a stressful, complicated experience. At Academy Mortgage Corporation, we've been offering customized home loan solutions and responsible, honest mortgage service for over 30 years. We pride ourselves on providing happy home ownership through responsible lending. Commitment to community and service to others are core values of Academy, as demonstrated in our yearly service expeditions.
Academy Mortgage Corporation, inspiring hope, delivering dreams, building prosperity.
C-A-N-T-E, Celebutant.
16 spellers have advanced to the finals of the Scripps National Spelling Bee. This after a marathon session during a preliminary round that lasted nearly 5.5 hours. 2 spellers made the primetime finals for the third time. 14-year-old Aaron Howard of Huntsville, Alabama, and 13-year-old Shrutika Patty of Cherry Hill, New Jersey. The winner will receive more than $50,000 in cash and prizes and a new custom-designed trophy. A teenager from Denver has developed a tool that could revolutionize spinal surgery, and it is so good it won top prize in one of the world's most prestigious science competitions. Karen Morfitt reports.
If you thought playing video games didn't pay off, you haven't met Krithik Ramesh.
Different points of your body, like so your elbows, your arms, your legs, and that ultimately determines your score.
The game Just Dance and his attempt to conquer one particular song
Shakira's Hips Don't Lie
is the inspiration behind a science project that could change the way spinal surgery is performed. His attempt to improve his score meant diving into the game's motion tracking technology.
So I was wondering if like something as dynamic as that could be applied to something as static as radiology.
Today, surgeons use live-time x-rays to help navigate the spine. The radiation can be harmful to the body, and screw placement isn't always accurate. Using motion tracking similar to the video game, Ramesh developed a safer and more accurate system for surgeons.
It can predict the spine biomechanics for a given patient and then optimize the surgical approach, and then guide the surgeon using an augmented reality headset.
He beat out more than 1,500 competitors at the Intel International Science and Engineering Fair, winning the top prize of $75,000. Money, he says, will go right back into his education.
And I look at like the price tag for tuition, and I think I realized that like probably should put it aside for college.
Wow.
What were you doing as a teenager?
Right. I was playing like, you know, Atari video games.
Well, the idea would, of course, need lots of testing on actual patients in order to prove it worked better than the system used today. But Ramesh has one more year of high school left, and he hopes to compete in the fair again next year.
Bright future for sure.
Yeah.
He just seems like he's already in like college and
I'm
grad
proud of
school.
him. I don't even know him, but I'm proud of him.
Yeah, totally.
The weather looking pretty nice, Justin Cruz.
Yep, especially with the return of the trade winds, and those trades are here to stay. That, plus how the weekend is shaping up. It's so beautiful outside, a bit hot. Feels like 87, 86 degrees at Daniel K. Inouye International Airport.
And coming up tonight on KHON, it's a 2-hour episode of Paradise Hotel, followed by the KHON 2 News at 9.